instead of speaking softly. Personally, when I listen to ASMR, I prefer whispered content, and surprisingly, when you're producing ASMR, I find it's less arduous on the voice to whisper rather than speak softly. And yes, so today we are, you'll notice you're faced away from the microphone because I'm going to be showing you some more miniatures today, and our background is my work in the progress dollhouse. It's a dollhouse that's entirely made out of cardboard. Some of the rooms are very unfinished. As you can see, there's a lot of exposed cardboard, but some of the rooms have been finished, and I've done the rooms. I've done the walls with origami paper. You know, any kind of patterned or coloured paper should work perfectly. And in some rooms I've even made paneling or wooden flooring using popsicle sticks. I didn't realise before that I could build a dollhouse out of cardboard, because usually dollhouses are wooden. And I don't know why, but I thought that it wouldn't be a proper dollhouse if it wasn't made out of wood. But then I came across a dollhouse called the Mouse Mansion on Pinterest, I think. And that dollhouse, even though it's enormous and it's incredibly detailed and it's whimsical and it's fantastic, I strongly encourage you to look it up. That dollhouse is completely made out of cardboard boxes and paper mache, and even so, it has handled, you know, being held on display and moved to different places, and it's enormous. So I realised that it's okay to use whatever materials you have available, and that doesn't mean that you know, it has to be somehow poor quality or, you know, just something you've put together. You can use any materials you have available to you and that are easy for you to work with. Personally, I'm a lot more comfortable working with you know, cardboard, paper mache, paper, popsicle sticks than actual wood. But I know that a lot of people who are into dollhouses are very, very skilled carpenters, and that's a big part of the hobby as well for some people. For me, it's all about the whimsical aesthetic, and so whatever means I go through to create it, I don't really care. So this house has a theme that you know, it's not maybe instantly recognisable, and you know, it's not supposed to be, so don't worry. But this dollhouse is called Toad Hall, and some of you may recognise that name because it's from a book, and it's from one of my favourite books, and that is, let's see if I can fit it in frame even, The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. If you don't know who Kenneth Grahame is, he was an author whose work actually inspired A.A. Milne, who wrote the Winnie the Pooh books. So if you're into that sort of whimsical woodland creature, small creatures like a badger and a toad and a rat and, you know, a mole. So yeah, I just something about that combination really spoke to me, and so I decided to make kind of a very basic, I guess you could say very basic Victorian inspired dollhouse, but instead of humans, the inhabitants would be toads, and they would be, you know, wearing suits and elaborate dresses and things, and I just thought it would look great. So that's what I wanted to make. This book doesn't have much of a description of Toad Hall, and even if it did, I don't think I will really follow it. It's just the aesthetic and the idea that I picked up from this book. But like in the last video, today I am going to show you some miniatures. I'm going to have to bring them close to the camera because it's surprisingly difficult to get any kind of decent shots of the actual dollhouse. So I tried filming a version of this video where I was holding the camera, and it was a catastrophe. I kept bumping the camera into the microphone and dropping things, and it was just it was so far from relaxing that I didn't even dare try to edit it to be better. So I'm going to do it this way, and I will maybe include some pictures of the finished rooms. There are only 2 finished rooms, so I promise you're not missing out on much. There is only 4 rooms in total in this dollhouse. I wanted to make something small, and I actually custom fitted to fit my bookcase, one of the shelves on my bookcase, so that it would be easy to store, because I live in a tiny apartment, and you know, seen some in the US and Europe and in the UK. So hopefully there will be an option that suits you. And like I said, shipping is not very expensive when you're talking about miniatures that weigh 1 or 2 grams each. So a lot of these places do ship internationally as well if you're not in any of the areas that I mentioned. Alright, so moving on to the first miniature. So as I said, I bought this when I was maybe 11 years old, and it is a tiny ghost. It is made out of Fimo clay. You might be more familiar with Fimo clay as a very popular material that people make earrings out of these days, but it's an incredible material to use for making miniatures. So this tiny ghost is actually made out of glow-in-the-dark Fimo clay, so it actually glows in the dark, which is surprisingly creepy considering how cute it is. But something like this, as you can see, it's hollow, so they probably just pressed some of the clay around something long, like a pencil, and made this. And then, you know, Fimo clay, you bake it in the oven and it turns hard. And this, even though it's hollow and it's quite thin, it has lasted me forever, even though I was so young when I bought it. Now, I don't think this ghost is going to live at Toad Hall indefinitely. Toad Hall doesn't strike me as the kind of place to be haunted, but I have been wanting to make a kind of my version of Hogwarts with, well, again, the space is an issue, so maybe like a version with just a few rooms, but I think this would be right at home there. If you have a name suggestion for this ghost, please leave it down below. It would be great to have a name for him. Or her, you know, I don't know. Alright, moving on to the next thing. Now this is actually something that I have made myself. Well, there are a lot of these items in this bag. I don't know if you can tell, but these are tiny perfume bottles. I have one out of the bag that I'm going to show you in just a bit. But these perfume bottles are made out of beads and earring parts. So if you have any kind of stud earrings that you're not using, they are great for making perfume bottles, especially the earring packs. They are great as perfume bottle caps, and then you can even use the actual earring to stick inside the bead, like I've done here. So everything stays in place and you just secure it with glue. And you can make all kinds of different designs using different beads and different earrings. So this is a lot of fun, and it's been my dream for a long time to actually one day be a seller at one of these miniature conventions. And so I've compiled this bag of perfumes with that in mind. Mind you, if I was going to a Dollhouse fair, I would have to make a lot more of these and a lot more of other things, so maybe that's a thing for later in life, but one can always dream. I'm going to show you some of these perfume bottles, or one of them outside the bag, so you can tell a little bit better how it looks. Okay, let's see if we can actually focus. Okay, so here is one of the perfume bottles, and this is one I've taken out the bag to put in Toad Hall. I'm not sure which room, but I just thought that it does look vaguely Victorian, and that's sort of a vague theme for that Dollhouse, so I think this will find a home there eventually. Next, I'm going to show you a few food-related items. First it's, expertly made, as you can see. Well, as you would see if my camera would focus. There we go. So, this is a tiny Subway sandwich made out of, I think it's Vimo clay, probably. And there's even tiny pieces of lettuce and red onion sticking out of the side of the sandwich, which is just, too cute. But I don't usually buy actual meals or courses of food made ready like this, because when you go to an actual kitchen, it's very rare to see just a random sandwich laid out on a table somewhere. Not to mention, stacked on shelves or something. So I want a kitchen to look like it houses all the ingredients needed to make food. But I didn't realise that as a kid, and I would have, my dollhouse kitchen would be filled with, pastries and bread and, things like this that a normal kitchen would never have, just on display unless someone was eating right there at that moment. So that's a good thing to keep in mind, even though these kind of items are so inviting, and I think miniatures like these are the reason so many people end up making they're called box rooms. So you just make one room, and a lot of people end up making some kind of bakery or cafe at some point, because that's where you can put all of these kinds of items. Then I have a newer example of what kind of food items I like to buy these days. I've bought these from a Dollhouse fair, like pretty much all of my miniatures these days, and they are jars of jam and other condiments. Wait, I don't think jam's a condiment. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? Preservables, maybe. Okay, so this is a jar of raspberry jam. I'm not sure if I showed you this already in my last video about miniatures, but it's just too cute, and you can actually see that it appears to have, I think that's a cat hair on it. I don't actually have a cat, so that's going to be a mystery. But anyway, it does actually appear to have some jam inside it, which is just darling. These are the kind of items that I love to get these days, because they look very, authentic and natural when you stack them into a kitchen cabinet or a pantry. This is a jar of pickles of some kind. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. If you have suggestions, let me know. I think it looks like cut up pieces of sausage, but I don't think that's something that people tend to preserve in jars. Anyway, it looks great, and I love miniatures like this. So this is glass, and I have no idea how this is made. There is something called liquid Vimo, which is a clear liquid that you can bake in the oven like normal Vimo, and then it hardens, and you can theoretically make something like this. But I don't think that's how they made this. I have no idea how these are made, but I love them. I have a third one, which reminds me of Paddington Bear, because I think Paddington Bear has marmalade on toast, maybe apricot or something like that. Yeah, I think it's apricot marmalade that he likes to have on toast, but this jar reminded me of that. Looks like apricot marmalade, or maybe lemon curd or honey, but it's just too cute. And yeah, I just can't wait till I've built the kitchen so I can actually any kind of dish you wanted. I'm not sure why this saucepan is shaped like this. Maybe it's for making like pancakes or something. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a reason though. But as I mentioned, I'm aiming for that sort of vaguely Victorian look, which is actually, you know, the most basic theme of any dollhouse ever. But I think copper pots and pans like this fit that theme perfectly. So that's why I bought so many of them. They also remind me of the Ghibli film Borrowers, which is a major inspiration, I believe, for a lot of miniature enthusiasts, because the film features tiny people, and there's an actual dollhouse in the film, and they get to live in the kitchen from the dollhouse, I think, and it's filled with items like these. And as you know, if you've watched any of Studio Ghibli's films, they are incredibly detailed and they are just eye candy to look at, especially if, you know, it's about a dollhouse. So these sort of things also tend to remind me of that film. So next we have something I don't actually display in my dollhouse all the time, rather only at Christmas. And this is a tiny Christmas tree with some snow details, and it actually has some ornaments hanging from it. These ornaments are made by gluing together two rhinestones, and then you have some tiny thread in between. I have lots of these ornaments, but a few of them refused to come off the tree when I was taking down the decorations last year. So, but yeah, I think I've seen Christmas trees like this available in craft stores. I don't know why that word is so difficult. I've seen trees like this available at craft stores around the holidays. More common these days. I think it was after the, oh gosh, what are they called? It became a trend on like Pinterest and Christmas decorating to make these tiny doors for like elf doors, maybe they call them, I'm not sure. But ever since that became a big trend, and it's even a tradition that some people have these days to make this, you know, door for elves, and craft stores will sell like materials for that. So you'll often actually these days find like miniature festive items around Christmas, because people are making these door decorations. So that's a good tip to keep in mind. But yeah, this is a lovely Christmas tree. Let's see if it sounds nice. I think it's made out of wire and then some kind of fake moss that's maybe being glued on it. There's a lot of overlap between miniatures in terms of dollhouses and miniatures in terms of, you know, miniature train sets and that sort of things. So a lot of the time actually the same materials will suffice. So there is fake moss and grass and that kind of things that come in bags that are used for landscaping, for miniature trains, and, you know, people make landscapes and towns and everything for the trains to go through. So it's worth looking into those kind of materials as well, because sometimes they're more easily available than dollhouse miniature supplies. I have used that sort of fake moss for a lantern that I'm working on. I'm making like a tiny room inside the lantern another very good way to start building miniature scenes is to start with just one room inside a lantern or inside a picture frame or anything you like. That way the project doesn't get too big and you get the satisfaction of finishing it a lot quicker. Next, I'm going to pull out a couple of miniatures from inside Toad Hall. First of all, my very, very, very maybe favourite item in Toad Hall is this. This is a tiny, real picture frame. Well, it's not real in the sense that, you know, someone manufactured this for humans to use. No. But it is real in the sense that you can actually put a photo inside and you can maybe tell that there is a photo of a toad inside. I had this set of scrap pictures, which was a popular thing in the Victorian times, and it's actually still popular, at least in Germany and Finland, other places as well. But I had this set of scrap pictures. They're like collectible pictures, except they're not stickers, they're not sticky, you just glue them to things. But I had this set that was like Victorian looking toads doing all kinds of things. Very strange looking pictures, but they serve perfectly as family portraits for Toad Hall, and so that's what I put inside. But this is metallic and it has 3 tiny little rhinestones at the top. It's just gorgeous. I love items like these, and I think the best thing about miniatures is how cheap they are. Because, you know, something like this obviously is, you know, €1, £1. So, you know, they are cheap and you get something very ornate and lovely. And I think if you're a person, like a student who has to live on a budget always, this is a good way to make all of your home decoration dreams come true, but not have to pay a lot for it. And I will say again, it's actually a lot of fun to try to make things yourself, and you can use surprisingly ordinary materials like cardboard, paper mache, paper, popsicle sticks, what have you, and or clay, you know, like Fimo clay that I mentioned, and you can make very nearly anything. So don't be too intimidated, even if you run into, you know, miniature tutorials where they use very specialised supplies like a cry card or a 3D printer or something. You don't need those things to get started and make actually great looking things. And I have a great example of that. It's actually in a finished room, which is up here. So it's glued down and I can't bring it out to show you, but I will attempt to show you anyway. Okay. So I'm going to tilt the camera just a bit. Right up here, you see this plant. This plant is made out of wire and painter's tape, and the painter's tape has been coloured over with a green marker. So you put some painter's tape on both sides of some wire, you colour it green, and then you cut it into the shape of a leaf, and you cut these slits into it, and you get ferns, and they actually look great. And you know, that is something that's made with, you know, absolute basic materials that you probably have if you're into any kind of crafting. So that's a good example of how simple some of the materials can actually be. I'm going to put these fake leaves back. The rooms just looked so empty. I wanted something nice here, so the background isn't so bleak. This is my favourite fake plant from IKEA. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's my favourite because it looks a lot more like a real this has some very cute balls of yarn in it, and actually I bought this from an artist. I did not make this myself, but it's stunning. Someone has actually started knitting with these tiny sticks, and it's supposed to look like someone's, you know, in the middle of knitting something. But I purchased it and I put it in this basket, and it just looks perfect, absolutely perfect. But when it comes to small balls of yarn like these are very easy to make. What you do is you cut up a piece of, for example, a paper straw, if you have one, or just a piece of cardboard, and you wrap real yarn around it, and then you make a tiny label and you glue that around, and you get a piece, a ball of yarn. So you can make miniature items using the actual real world corresponding items, just in smaller amounts, if that makes sense at all. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing before I'm going to finish with today's video. Well, two more things. Okay, two more things. So this I got for Christmas a couple of years back. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's most likely from an online store. And this is a tiny phone. It's metal and it has an actual wire that stretches and bends, and you can pick up the receiver like that. I don't know, I just think it's too cute. I've had this vision of making a tiny toad in a suit who would be like a businessman, kind of an old-timey, old-money like businessman talking with his broker or something on the phone while having breakfast in the living room of Toad Hall. Okay, and now for the very last item, which is something very special to me, because this item was gifted to me by the person who actually introduced me to miniatures in the first place. This person was a family friend who was so dear to me and such a big part of my childhood. And this person was incredibly talented in making miniatures. This person wasn't at all like me, who likes to buy what everyone else makes and you know, collect things. But this person was so skilled and could make anything, and whenever they went to, you know, a Dollhouse fair, they you know, mainly